Good to see you again.
Is embedded in the ability to feel what others feel. Ignoring the feelings of others in itself is inhuman. If all that you see is yourself and your family, then you haven't seen all that there is to be seen. Good morning from the hills of ZINARIYA here in the city of Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. If you can hear my voice, it means you're rightly tuned into the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. Today is a very beautiful day here in the studio with a beautiful weather of about 24.5 degrees Celsius. I know it is a beautiful day wherever you are here in the city of Jos and its environ. Yes, it is still that your program, your most anticipated program on the radio, Unity Train. This morning we're going to do it the same way that we are used to doing it. Today is the 12th day of November 2024 and it is a Tuesday. Usually we do this program every morning, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and of course Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. This program is usually done in 3 segments. The first segment is that segment where we bring to you contemporary issues as it is on the newspaper. We call it the newspaper headlines. And the second segment is that segment where we bring to you analysis, in-depth analysis as to the contemporary issues that we have on newspapers and other issues that we find interesting on a daily. Usually we have the third segment, and that segment is your segment. I like to call it your segment because on this segment you can call in and give your input. Your submissions are very, very important to us because we are only here because you are out there. If you are not out there, we'll have no reason to be in here. So on that very segment, you are expected to call in and give your input and submissions because this is a channel for you to do that so you can get to the appropriate authority. When it is time for you to call, the number to call is 070-3235-3315. I am going to call the number again, 070-3235-3315. And the number to send your SMS to is 081-6314-1141. The number for your SMS, 081-6314-1141. As usual, I am your uncle. Michael Pedro is my name. And I am just going to delve into today's newspaper headline as it is on different newspapers. There seems to be a lot of news this morning, even from here in the city of Jos, on national newspapers. The Vanguard has this to say. It says, it says value of unsold good rises by 357.6% to 1.24 trillion. This is by Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. This is because the claim is this is happening because there seems to be spending more in production in recent time that they have been spending in the past because of the lack of power. And in continuation, it says Nigeria crude output rises 16.56% to 1.8 trillion BPD. That was on Vanguard's newspaper. Daily Trust has this to say. It says Tinubu, Prince Salman orders demand end to Israel's aggression in Gaza. Call for two-state solution. Death toll in Palestine surpasses 43,000. 16,765 children among victims. Over 100,000 wounded. Dangote IP man agrees on direct fuel supply. First news says fuel price set for drop as IP man secures access to Dangote refinery supply. Still on our first news, it says NAFDAC seizes 1.2 million worth of counterfeit wines in Nasarawa. Nigeria oil output surges to 1.8 million BPD. Times are hard, but there is light ahead. Tinubu Sanwo-Olu assures Nigerians. The Matrix has this to say, says, you are unprepared for office. Atiku bombs Tinubu again. Says, I can't be jealous of who inflicts pains on Nigerians. Tinubu hails Ogoni Mata, says injustice should no longer be tolerated. ACF opens up on Lakurawa, says terror groups has existed since 2016. DSS, Army, Police aware of group's existence. Northern group seeks deployment of 40,000 troops to curb menace. This is on the Matrix. I find this very interesting, where it says that the terror group has been in existence since 2016 and that the DSS, Army, Police are aware of the group's existence. And that will leave you wondering why we are only getting to know about it now. As usual, you know, I'm not doing this program alone. I have with me in the studio an erudite analyst, a father, one who will lend his voice to the cause of humanity at any point in time without flinching. He is no other person but the person of Professor Paveno Bameyi. Paveno H. Bameyi. He's in the house with me this morning, and I know he would want to say good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Pedro Michael. Sudamakan, have you eaten? Good morning, viewers, listeners. Sudamakan, in Malay it means have you eaten? That's the way the Malaysians greet themselves in the morning. They ask you whether you've eaten. Ask your neighbor, have you eaten? Ask your friend, have you eaten? Or probably, do you have something to eat? If you're in other parts of the world that is not morning, good afternoon and good evening. It's wonderful to be on Unity FM 93.3, Unity TV. We're also on Facebook and YouTube. It's wonderful that you're part of this beautiful broadcast this morning. And let me just remind you that 2024 is coming to an end. Today is 12th November already. It's just like yesterday we said Happy New Year. Very soon the year will end, and by God's grace and mercy it will be another Happy New Year, 2025. Let me encourage you to fulfill your dreams, your goals for 2024. And let me begin with the story of a man called Nick James Vujicic. Vujicic was born on the 4th of December, 1982. And he was born without arms and without limbs. Nick Vujicic was an abnormal child that his parents even left him in the hospital. The mom could not bear to carry such a child. He was suffering from what a medical condition they call tetraamelia, where a person doesn't have arms and doesn't have limbs, no legs, no hands, if you please. And growing up was quite challenging. But he decided that, look, if I cannot have a miracle, then I can become a miracle to people. Today, the man we are talking about, Nick James Vujicic, has written more than 10, 20 different books. Yet he doesn't have hands, no arms, no limbs. Yet he's married. He got married to his sweetheart, Finai, in 2012. They have 2 boys and 2 girls. He's a motivational speaker that goes around the world, speaking to thousands, tens of thousands. Indeed, he has spoken to millions around the world. I'm talking about a man that doesn't have arms and he doesn't have limbs. Yet, he has changed the course of history. He's about 42 years old. He'll be 42 on the 4th of December, 2024. And yet this man has gone around the world to more than 65 different countries of the world. Still, no arms and no limbs. Those of us who have hands, what are we doing with those hands? You have legs, what are you doing with the legs? Somebody that is armless and limbless has moved around the world and has changed millions of lives positively. And that is why I want to encourage you. Whatever your goals and objectives are for 2024, make sure they are smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Don't give up on them. Because Nick Vujicic, as he was growing up, Nick refused to give up. They laughed at him. They mocked him. They scoffed at him. They said he will amount to nothing. But today, he is a celebrity. Just go to Google and Google the name Nick James Vujicic, and you will see thousands and millions of web pages appear. From where he stays in the United States, he's an Australian but based in the United States. He has moved around the world and has changed the course of history. And that is why I want to tell you that Nigeria doesn't determine your greatness. The economy of Nigeria doesn't determine whether you enjoy life or not. You must take your destiny in your hands. You must decide to perspire, to acquire what you require in life. In case you do not acquire, don't retire. Refire. You must decide that tough times never last, but tough people do. So I'm going to be a tough person. No matter how tough the economy is, whether the politicians like it or not, I will make it in life. You see, failure is not fatal. Success is not final. It is the courage to continue that counts. Keep soldiering on. Keep moving on. Keep advancing in life. Don't be stagnant. Don't stop in one place. Stop that lamentation and crying out and wailing and self-pity. Wake up and move forward in life. You see, you need to wake up for your dreams in life to come to pass. You can have great dreams. If you keep sleeping, your dreams will never come to pass. You must wake up and do something for those dreams to come to pass. And one important key is diligence. In whatever you're doing, do it with all your might. And that way you can achieve greatness in life. Today, as always, be the change that you want to see in the world.
Thank you so much, Professor, for that beautiful motivation. Like I said yesterday, I look forward to this motivation every day myself. It keeps me going. Remember, the point of, for me, it's the highlight of the day. It helps me focus and go about my duty of the day without any form of distraction. Professor, this morning
You've read some fantastic headlines already that I was listening to. You can imagine that the Lukarawas or Lakurawas, whatever their name is, that terror group, has been in existence for some time. The new terror group is not really new. They have been there, the DSAs and some other army formations. You know, I'm aware that something is happening, but they did nothing about it. The communities did nothing about it. Now, can you tell me that we're serious about security in this country? Can you tell me that the army is serious to exterminate these terrorists that are all over the country, from Maiduguri to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Abuja to Abakaliki? No place is safe in the nation that is called Nigeria. And, you know, this new terror group, the Lakurawas or Lukarawas or whatever they call themselves, is a very dangerous terror group.
Of course.
Because they are emanating from Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, our neighboring countries that have been devastated by war. They have weapons. In fact, recent revelations about this group shows that they even have drones that they use.
Oh.
And they are controlling about 5 local government areas in Kebbi and Sokoto states. and that they're even imposing their own justice system on the locals. They set up their own courts and judge cases of the locals. They are so powerful that they are not even afraid of the noise that is being made by our military. They have technology that they use for fighting. And this bothers me because this is a very dangerous terror group. That if we don't go all out right now and crush this terror group, it will become maybe the deadliest of all the terror groups that we have in the country. We've not finished with Boko Haram. We've not finished with ISWAP. We've not finished with the bandits that are ravaging the northwest and beyond. We've not finished with herdsmen attacks on non-herdsmen or non-gunmen and all that, that wipe out the entire communities and kill at will. We've not finished with hip-hop. We've not finished with some faceless groups that are coming up in different parts of the country. Now we have a new terror group that is using technology, the Lakurawas or Lukarawas or whatever they call themselves. Now tell me that if we were not able to deal with Boko Haram, are we going to be able to face this new terror group that has decided to be innovative and creative in their attack? It is only in Nigeria that you will see foreigners will enter our country. No visa, no passport, nothing. They will enter and kill Nigerians and assault Nigerians and take over houses and properties of Nigerians scot-free, and they go their way. And there is no response from the government, no response from our law enforcement agents. This is what is happening. And you know, the location of this terror group in that Kebbi and Sokoto states, where we have a border with Niger Republic, a border that extends for a stretch that is over 100 kilometers more. In fact, much more than that. It is the largest border between Nigeria and any country. It shows that it is going to be a Herculean task if our law enforcement agents don't wake up to be able to control this terror group. Because they enter Nigeria at will, they leave at will. They enter anytime they want, they go anytime they want, they attack, they kill, they confiscate properties, they take spoils of war, they do anything they want. And yet, we have a military. Yet we have police. We have all manner of law enforcement agents.
Where is the place of territorial sovereignty and territorial integrity? If all this is going to be happening within Nigeria and not by Nigerians, we just tagged some minors recently as for protesting, the minors that were arrested during that NSAS governance, as we tagged them with the offense of treason. Isn't this the kind of offense that should be tagged treasonable offense of undermining a nation's sovereignty and integrity? Because coming from other countries into another nation to perpetrate such evil is treasonable as far as I'm concerned. But then we don't hear anybody saying anything about treason or going out with all seriousness to say that we put an end to this menace. We romance it. Coming to getting to know this morning that this group has been in existence since 2016 left me wondering as to whether we know what we are doing, or is there an interest? Because sincerely, sir, I'm confused.
You know, this is what we've been saying. We don't have a government that is serious about security. Law enforcement agents are not serious. They take this matter of security lightly. Tell me, where in the world will you see a country whose territorial integrity is desecrated, infringed upon by foreigners? They come in at will, they live at will, they kill, they maim, they rape, they steal, they rob. And our president is not even saying anything. In fact, currently he's out of the country. When he comes back, he will still go out again. Where in the world do you see that there are terrorist attacks all over the country and people are being killed, citizens of the country. And the president is jetting around the world, moving about. And the law enforcement agents are busy wearing nice uniforms and addressing the press and talking, and they're not taking the matter serious. And they're not declaring an all-out war against terrorists. And our president, when he even talks about these terrorist attacks, if we are lucky that he says anything, you cannot see any rage in his face. You cannot see any seriousness in his face. You cannot even see any seriousness in his words. It is very casual. It is like it has become a normal thing that Nigerians are killed by terrorists. The president, does he care? The vice president, the ministers, the senators, the House of Reps, the governors, do they care? You don't see them speaking with any rage. Let 1 over 1,000 of what is happening in Nigeria happen in the US. You will see the US president, in fact, the visage of his face. You will see the way he will be talking, his face, his countenance will change. You will know that you have a president that is interested in protecting his people. But here in this country, Nigerians will be dying in their dozens, in their tens, and their hundreds, in their thousands. Our presidents and other politicians will be celebrating. They'll be going for gala nights, for parties, for banquets. You know, they'll be enjoying themselves, eating and drinking and whining over the corpses of Nigerians. They don't care. When was the last time you heard them declare any national day of mourning because of the Nigerians that are being killed almost on a daily basis? We don't have a serious government. And we don't have serious law enforcement agents who are motivated, who want to crush terrorism. Let this thing happen. In other countries, you will see that under 24, 48 hours, it will end. But in this country, it's been 15 or more years. We're still dilly-dallying around the issue of terrorism. We're still dilly-dallying around whether we will crush them, and we even have more armory, more equipment, more weapons today than we had many years ago. We even have fighter helicopters and all the rest of them, Tucano helicopters that have been acquired, and more things, more fighting devices and machines that have been brought into the country. In 1981, when Metasine started in Kano, Abubakar Rimi was the governor of Kano State. He was out of the state when he was alerted that something like this was happening in his state, and he returned back immediately to Kano and issued a directive, and Metasine were crushed. They were crushed in a matter of days. They did not operate again in Kano to this day. The same thing happened in Gongola State. The same thing happened in Borno State, in Bulunkutu. Metasine was crushed. In Jimeta Yola, Metasine was crushed. 1984. They were crushed, and in a matter of days they were wiped out of existence. But look at what is happening. Metasine was crushed in Kano, crushed in Sokoto, crushed in Jimeta, in Meduri, crushed in a matter of days. But today, look at Boko Haram. 15 years, we're still playing and joking with the matter of security, and we have more soldiers now than we had in 1981.
With even more sophisticated
we have more
weapons.
sophisticated weapons now than we had in 1981. And we have more personnel now and more law enforcement agencies than we had in 1981. But what is the problem? We don't have a government that is serious about security. If we had a government that is serious about security, would they be talking about all these kangaroo, white elephant projects that we have all over the country when Nigerians are being killed every day? Will our president be traveling around the world? What impression is he giving other countries that his country is not at peace, that terrorists are ravaging and taking over territories, and that we have ungoverned spaces in our country, and our president is traveling to other countries? Those countries, they will just laugh at our president, laugh at Nigeria, and say we don't have a serious leader. You know, those presidents and prime ministers of those countries that our leaders keep visiting, they think that those leaders are not thinking aright. They're thinking that when you visit them, when they know you have crisis in your country and you leave it and you go and visit, they don't take you serious. That's why you see they're not coming. What investment are they coming to invest in the midst of insecurity?
It's really, really unfortunate.
What are they coming to do when you have not secured your own country? Which president of any country will take you serious? I mean, they just make fun of you. You just go and you visit and you just eat and dine. By the time you leave, they know that you are not a serious leader.
It's really unfortunate.
Our leaders need to do something to secure the territorial integrity of this country. Left to me, the president should declare an all-out war against insecurity, against terrorists. All over this country, all-out war that should not stop until the last terrorist is neutralized in this country.
It's really, really a topic of interest, and there's a lot to say about this very topic this morning. We'll be going on a very short break, and we'll be back to continue from where we stopped. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Pay attention, it starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It a kill law, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again.
Back from that short break. If you can still hear my voice, it means you're rightly tuned into the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. here in the city of Jos. And of course, it is still that your most anticipated political and social economic program on the radio, the Unity Train. Before we went on that very short break, we were having an in-depth discussion as to certain issues that are bedeviling our dear nation, Nigeria. And the professor had a lot to say. He has done justice to that. We're just going to look into another issue, an issue that concerns us here on the plateau. A recent happening at Basa, the mining collapse at Basa that killed 13 people, at Basa local government. That's in between the border of Basa, Jos North and Jos South local government. I think it happened on Saturday. I don't know if you have something you want to say about that very incident.
The chairman, Basa local government area of Plateau State, came out yesterday to acknowledge this tragedy. 13 people killed, most of them young people, of Basa local government area, who are involved in mining. Of course, we know that it's illegal mining. And the government has been saying this is illegal mining, but it's just lip service. The government is not doing anything serious to stop illegal mining. And lives have been lost. It is not the first time that we're having mining collapse in Plateau State and other states in the country. But 13 lives lost at once. Do I blame the miners? No, because they're trying to eke out a living. The economy is frustrating people. People are starving. People cannot make ends meet. And so any job that is available is a welcome development to the average Nigerian. Just like the other day we were discussing with someone, and he said a lot of young people are into mining. And he said it's a good development because those young men will have been robbers or thieves. Actually. But they are going into mining, at least to earn a living. And what the government would have done would have been to regularize the mining activities and make them legal and have operational guidelines and SOPs, and all that for those involved in them, so that they would not continually be illegal miners as they are currently. As it is, most of the mining activities that we see on the plateau and around the country is illegal. Unfortunately, these young people, the mine collapsed on them. 13 dead. We can only say, may their souls rest in peace. And we pray that God will comfort the families of these people who were struggling to earn a living. But this is a wake-up call to the government that something should be done about the mining industry. Something should be done about this mining sector to ensure that it becomes an industry that is not only regulated, but that brings in adequate revenue to the government and to individuals who are involved in it. Currently, because it is illegal, whatever these people are able to get, they sell it at a giveaway. The people who collect these resources from them are the ones who actually make the money. Our people are in a hurry, just give them small amount of money, they're ready to hand over whatever they mined. And those people go and make a lot more money, 10 times the money that they gave to our local people. And that is why the government needs to come in and ensure that something is done about these illegal mining activities that are taking place all over Plateau State. It is affecting the topography of the land because it is not being done in the correct way. You see, these miners, they just digging holes, all manner of tunnels and holes all over the place. And sometimes those tunnels and holes that they dig go 100 meters, 200 meters, and by the time you know, they have destroyed a lot of the topography. Not minding the ecological effects. And they don't care about that. All their interest is the money that they can make from it. And we've seen young people who have abandoned education, who have abandoned other businesses, and they just go into mining. I saw small boys, you know, digging the ground. What are you doing? They said mining, that they are looking for tin. They're getting tin, and they're destroying the road that we're using. To them, they don't care. They collect whatever it is, and they go and whatever they get, 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, that's big money to them. But if we had some regulation enforced, they could make much more than this, and they could even have better lives than the current one they're having. They make the money, and then you don't see any impact on them. They make the money, they spend it. Make it, they spend it. Make it, they spend it. Their lives are not becoming better. And they're doing this at the risk of their own lives. And this is why the government needs to come in to this sector and regularize it.
It's very unfortunate to know that even despite the risks involved and all, you hardly will see the impact of this very mining in the lives of these youths that are actually going there to mine. The idea behind it is to just get 3 square meal on a daily, so they can have something to eat and not sleep hungry. But sir, the another impact of it, from the angle I'm seeing it, I don't know if I'm right, is the fact that this serves as a means of a capital flight also. That this materials, these resources that are being digged out of the ground, these resources that we're talking about, we don't use it here. We don't convert them into finished goods here. Mostly it is this Chinese and Lebanese that will buy it out of this, take it out and then convert it into finished goods, bring it back, and then exploit Nigerians again by selling it with very expensive, though they bought the raw materials very, very cheap. Do you think it's another way of a capital flight?
Yeah, this happens because the government is not serious about mineral resources that we have in abundance in the country, and in this particular case here in the Plateau State. If the government was serious and we regularize this sector, and we ensure that people do mining legally, and whatever they get, the resources they get, is also legally sold or processed here to finish goods, we'll make a lot of money. But because the government doesn't care, and they allow it to be done illegally, and these people mine the resources and they sell it to some Chinese, some Lebanese, some foreigners, whoever, and they take it out of the country illegally, you know, and do whatever they want to do and make money, and we end up losing because the government is not serious. Of course, these are one of the many ways that we keep losing money in this country, because this is one area that if the government focuses our attention, we can maximize the potentials of the mining industry in Plateau State. And Plateau State can return back to its former glory and even greater glory. We are called the Tin City. It is not just a nickname. It is not for nothing. Because people used to mine tin here. And this city was known for tin. But what is happening today? The government doesn't care. Everybody is looking forward to federal allocation that is coming from the federal government. And so we just have a bunch of governors over the years in Plateau State that just sit down and wait for federal allocation. And this breeds laziness, because we see governors all over this country very lazy. Very lazy because they know that at the end of the month there will be a federal allocation to their various states. And so the governors just sit down and they wait for that allocation that is coming, the billions, which they're going to spend on white elephant projects and do some other, projects that are mere smoke screens that don't have any much impact upon the people. So we need to have a government that is serious about industrialization. By the time the Plateau State government is serious about industrialization, this is one area the government can come in. And then, before you know it, Plateau State will be competing with other states like Lagos and even become the best state, in the country. We have the potential, but we don't have the visionary leadership to ensure that the resources are maximized. The governor is trying in some small areas, like the small, tiny little bit that he has done about transport, with those buses and the few roads, that he renovated, and some small things that he's doing. But the governor needs to wake up and be serious about industrialization, in addition to security, which is number one. The governor needs to be serious about ensuring that the Plateau State becomes an industrial center in this country. He should not be sitting around waiting for federal allocation. What happens if the federal allocation fails? What is going to happen to Plateau State? The governor should not be eyeing the federal allocation. He needs to wake up and be serious and stop all the laziness of waiting for federal allocation to get things done. We have enough resources on the plateau that if the state government is serious, we will not even need federal allocation from the federal government. We'll be able, from our internally generated revenue, Plateau State will even be able to lend money to the federal government. But because the federal government has spoiled the states all over the country by every month dishing out free money to all the states, and the governors are just waiting with two open hands, ready to receive, federal allocation every time. So we have a bunch of lazy governors all over the country that are not ready to invest in their states, to maximize the potential of their states, to industrialize their states, so that their states can be self-sufficient. If the government should stop all this federal allocation for 1 year, let's see how the states will survive. Governors will wake up and they will begin to have ideas to generate revenue for themselves. Look at Lagos State. When they were denied revenue under Obasanjo's government, did they collapse?
Yes.
They did not collapse.
They did.
Why? Because they have huge, humongous, internally generated revenue. Can we say that of Plateau State? That if the federal government refuses to give money to Plateau State government for the next 1 year, are we going to be able to survive? This is what the governor should be looking at, and his cabinet, that let's generate internally generated revenue in Plateau State. Let's have enough money that we can even lend to other states and even lend to the federal government. And we have the potential. We have potential even in the tourism industry alone. Tourism can sustain this state. Agriculture can sustain this state. These are areas that the government should focus on and stop looking forward to the federal allocation that is given from Abuja, every month.
A point of interest for me is that point where you spoke about industrializing Plateau States. My attention was drawn to, I just thought of Dilimi. If we are going to harness the potentials, if you go to Dilimi, you see people, young boys, fabricating stuffs and doing stuffs that you cannot imagine. On a normal, you don't believe that stuff like that can be made here on the plateau. If we're going to give those people, those young boys, opportunity, even these mining machines that we need to actually do this mining legally can be fabricated here. I
met a gentleman at a funeral, and this gentleman had developed a water pumping machine here on the plateau.
You see,
here in Jos. The water pumping machine can be used for irrigation, and it uses solar. It doesn't use petrol or diesel. It uses solar. And who is encouraging the gentleman? Those are the kind of men that the government should identify and say, look, you've been able to produce this. Can you mass produce this? All over the state, let's begin to have irrigation. Dry season farming. Let it be that during the dry season we even farm and harvest more crops than during the rainy season. And you will see that there will be a revolution in agriculture all over Plateau State. But the young man, the gentleman, he's been discouraged because that he has presented this, shown the prototype, brought it, and show how it works, demonstrated it. But nobody is coming forth to really encourage, this gentleman, and he's thinking of going elsewhere. I don't even know whether he's still around because it's been some weeks or a few months. Maybe he has gone to another state, or maybe he has gone outside the country, and then they will go and produce these things in China, and then we'll be buying it.
Yes, we'll rush to buy it,
We'll be buying it because it's coming from China, and then we'll be losing our foreign exchange.
When the initial
we'll be losing our foreign reserve because we'll be buying in dollars. That is how a young man in this country went and produced a fantastic product in China. Nigeria is buying it now. You know, I've been outside this country. I go to some shopping malls. I see things that were taken from Nigeria, and they have produced some products, and they are putting it, and people are buying it. But it is from Nigeria. My wife one day said, no, we are not going to buy this. This is from Nigeria. Look at the price they are putting. They took these things from Nigeria and they went and repackaged it, produced some products, and they're asking us to buy. My wife protested and said, we should not buy this product because we can get it from Nigeria, our own country. So people come and they take things from our country and they go and they produce the sobo that our people are harvesting. Here they will take it, carry it, go outside the country and produce a fantastic product. You will not even know that it's from the sobo that we're using. And we'll be importing these things back to the country. They go, they take, you know, raw materials from Nigeria, they go and produce finished goods, products, and they sell it back to us. It is a shame because we don't have visionary leaders that can say, look, we need to industrialize this country. We need to industrialize this state. And this is what we're going to do in the next 1, 2, 3 years. This is our target. We are focusing and we'll get this done. I think the government is just playing around so many things without a focus. We need to have visionary leaders. Our governors need to be visionary. The president need to be a visionary. Everybody occupying public offices, public positions, they need to be visionaries. Look at what Singapore did within 25 years and they became a developed country. And we've not been able to do 1/10 of what Singapore has done. And we're 64 years old. And we are not close to being a developed country. They still refer to Nigeria as an underdeveloped country.
Not even a developed
and one of the worst countries to even stay on earth in terms of security. And yet, our government, our president is flying around the world. And he doesn't even seem to know the impact of what he's doing. That when he's moving around the world, he's telling world leaders that he is not serious about governance in his own country. And world leaders are not going to take him serious. And we need to do something about our own country. We need to provide security in our own country. We need to provide peace and stability. And then we need to industrialize our country. If we don't do these things, forget it. Nigeria economy will not improve. The naira will continue to fall against the dollar. There is already a prediction that the naira will continue to fall and fall and fall and fall. And we'll be getting towards 2,000 naira to $1 at the rate at which we're going in the next months or few years. But our government is not serious about addressing serious issues in this country. They're just interested in trivial matters, mundane, ephemeral things. They're just interested in things that just concern themselves, the politicians. In the midst of all these sufferings, in the midst of the economic hardship, our government, their priority is another tax bill. They want to restructure tax bill. They want to maybe impose some more tax on Nigerians in certain sectors, VAT, you know, and all kinds of things, instead of thinking about how to make the lives of Nigerians better. Instead of sending bills to the National Assembly to increase minimum wage to at least 500,000 naira a month for the average Nigerian. Instead of sending bills to ensure that Nigerians have houses to stay, have food to eat, have, you know, fantastic health facilities. Instead of sending bills to ensure that education in Nigeria is maximizing its potential, that we can compete with our peers around the world, the government is not interested in doing those things. Since when did you see the government sending bills, the federal government executive bills that will better the lives of Nigerians? It is always for their own selfish reasons, their own selfish aims. And that is why we keep telling Nigerians that Nigerians will need to wise up. If you are waiting for the government to help you, you may be waiting till thy kingdom come. You have to wake up and help yourself. Identify your talent, your gifting, what you can do with your hands, what you can do to make your economy better. And at the same time, we must continue to hold our leaders accountable. We must keep shouting, we must keep talking, we must keep speaking truth to power, we must keep telling the politicians that they are not doing well. Instead of celebrating them, our traditional rulers should stop giving chieftaincy titles to politicians. Stop giving chieftaincy titles to politicians who have failed woefully. What have they done that you are giving them chieftaincy titles? Is it not these same politicians that have brought the Nigerian economy to its knees today? Why do you give them chieftaincy titles? Stop all these chieftaincy titles selling to politicians. Let's give serious people chieftaincy titles, not politicians, not political leaders that have failed the country woefully. As far as I'm concerned, there are very few, if any, among the political class currently that are doing well. Among those who are governing us, those who are ruling us, who are deserving of any traditional title. Very few, if any. In fact, don't even give them. Because when you give them, they think that they're doing well, whereas they are not doing well at all. The kind of people we should celebrate are professionals who have distinguished themselves in their fields. Technocrats. Like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala now was celebrating over the weekend. She's the sole candidate for the position of Director General of the World Trade Organization. Everybody has stepped down for her second term in office. That is a distinguished Nigerian. That's a Nigerian to be celebrated. I don't mind how many chieftaincy titles are given to Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She deserves it. Not all these our politicians that are moving about. All they think about is how to buy more cars, how to acquire more houses and land, and how to carry out their selfish interests. Not all these politicians. Stop giving them any chieftaincy title. They don't deserve it. Until Nigeria becomes a developed country, no politician should be given any chieftaincy title. Because these are people that have run down our economy. They have grounded Nigeria. They have made us a laughing stock. They have made us, that nations are looking and laughing at Nigeria. The giant of Africa that Nigeria is supposed to be, but a sleeping giant, because we don't have visionary leaders. And that is why we as Nigerians, we must rise up and exercise our civic rights and duties. When elections come, make sure you go out to vote. Vote out corrupt politicians. Let's bring in leaders that have some integrity. Some leaders that have some fear of God in them. Leaders that will serve the people, not serve their pockets, not serve themselves. And that is why I think that we need to restructure the way Nigerian politics is. Senators should be earning the salary that they're giving teachers. Our members of the House of Reps and governors, president and the rest should be earning the salary that they're giving workers in Nigeria. And Nigerians will see whether they truly want to serve. They already have enough allowances. Why should they be given humongous salaries? When we are paying for the food they're eating, we are paying for the cars they're using,
virtually
we are paying for the clothes they're wearing, we are paying for even the newspapers they read every day, and the allowances for all these things, even the airtime, everything. We are paying all their bills, and yet they are collecting humongous salaries. What for? It is high time we make the National Assembly a part-time job. Let professionals who are working go there, legislate, return back to their jobs. Not the one that somebody is permanently a senator and he just sits in Abuja and goes to the Senate to sleep and be dozing while plenary is in session. I mean, what is that? Some of those senators, we've never heard their voice for even one day. For all the years that they have been senators, they have not sponsored a single bill. What is their use? They just go there to earn money and drive cars pass around Abuja and earn mansions, what is the use of having 109 senators? For what?
Interestingly, sometimes...
Why should we have 360 members of the House of Representatives? It's a waste of resources.
Interestingly, sometimes you see some of these representatives in the House of Green Chamber and the Red Chambers even sleeping during plenary sections because they don't have anything to say. They are not there for the interest of the people. They are there just for their own selfish interest. They know whether or not they sleep, they are still going to get or whatever payment that is due for them at the end of the month. The professor has said a lot this morning, and I know you are out there listening. You can start typing in your text messages. The number to send in your text message is 081-6314-1141. I will call the number again, 081-6314-1141. And if you want to call into the program, the next segment is your segment. Like I would say, we are here because you're out there. If you are not there, we will not be in here. This is a channel for you to call in and then send in your submissions to the appropriate authority. And when you want to call, the number to call is 07032353315. 07032353315. We'll be going on this very short break and we'll be back. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune into Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Pay attention, it starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It a kill love, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Unity. Unity TV.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
Welcome back from that very short break. It is still that your most anticipated political and socio-economic program on the radio, the Unity Train. If you can hear me, it means you're still rightly tuned into the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. And of course, today is another day, the 12th day of November 2024. And the professor had a lot to say this morning about some contending issues that we have today, both on newspapers and the ones we feel it's important we say something about this morning. The professor had done justice to that. I have some text messages this morning already in the house that I would like to read out. But before I do that, the numbers you can call when you want to call is 070-3235-3315, and the numbers to send your SMS to is 081-6314-1141. My first text message this morning is says Prof. Bameyi and Pedro, we are here again. That story about Nick James is pathetic, though motivating. That's God for us. The Lakurawa issue is disturbing. Don't forget that we are surrounded by the francophones. They penetrate our country with ease, and we cannot do that. We have to rise up to the menace. We are caged. M. Lawal from Sabon Peggy. Again, Professor agreed. Regularizing the mining industry is not taken into account, and this does not affect Plateau alone. The young people have to earn a living, but they died instead. Chile had a situation of mining collapse years ago. We saw how the country rescued them. M. Lawal from Sabon Peggy. This one says, good morning, Mike Pedro and the professor. Good morning, Mike Pedro and the professor. Insecurity in Nigeria. How I wish that the terrorists go after the big cabals and not the poor Nigerians that are already malnourished. If the terrorists are after the ministers, senators, national assemblies, governors, and the top echelons, will there be peace and insecurity in this country? Will there be peace and security in this country? Yet it's only the less privileged that are the victims. Let terrorists take over this country, whether lives will be better for Nigerians. Emmy Longs from Agingi. Emmy Longs is saying, let the terrorists take over Nigerians. Maybe life will be better. You know, Emmy Longs, this life will never get better if the terrorists take over Nigeria. We should be advocating that the government and security do the needful as far as security is concerned in Nigeria, because security is all that they can offer. In fact, it is the primary thing they should offer, the security of life and property. But unfortunately, here in Nigeria, we are battling with things that are supposed to be our fundamental rights. This is the reason why we have platforms like this, so you can lend your voice, because if we are quiet, it will seems as if it's a norm. It will become a norm over a period over time, and then you will really not like the outcome of things. So platforms like this gives you avenue to call in and give your input as to the things, the ills you observe in governance. That way we can make Nigeria better. My first caller for the day. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, my name is Abdul A. Muhammad.
Abdul A. Muhammad. Where are you calling from?
From here, Pilini Junction. I'm calling Junction.
Okay, Abdul, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. Basically, I very appreciate about this discussion that you discussed, and then I'm meeting our father, Prof. This our father. I never see the man that is emphasizing the truth like this. And especially you see this issue of security, especially this La Flower people.
Okay, we lost that caller. He had something to say about the Lakurawas and then we lost him, unfortunately. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Pedro.
Good morning, sir.
I'm Professor Bame in the studio.
Good morning.
This is Adewumi calling you from Bochiro.
Mr. Adewumi, your voice no go ever lost.
Thank you very much. God continue to bless people for your good work.
Thank you, sir. You too.
You see, my take this morning is on this issue of security. If our security personnel can tell Nigerians that those Lakurawas or whatsoever have been existing before, then why have they allowed them to exist? You understand? Why is it that until they gain more power before we begin to take action? Why are we not being proactive always in this nation? You see, our leaders must just have the political will to end this issue of insecurity. The major thing that bother Nigeria most is they will carry rocket launcher and the aircraft, a lot of ammunition. Where are they getting those ammunition from? What is the work of the immigration officers? And on the issue of mining, whenever there is mining activity, you will see that a lot of life will be lost. So the government, they said something is illegal, but the government are not even concerned with the illegality of the. Why wouldn't they make it legitimate so that these people can benefit? You understand what we are saying? Just as the professor has said, if not for the problem of poverty, I don't think some people will risk their life going under the ground to get what they will put, because people just have to put food on their table. You understand?
Very
so
true.
This is one of the things that we want to see the government do the right thing. And whenever you see mining activity, you see banditry coming to such communities.
Yes.
So our government must do the right thing. And on the other hand, instead of them telling us to pray and do other things, let them do the right thing. Because prayer without work can never work out. Honestly speaking, the way we see things in this country, just as the presidential candidate of the PDP said, I think the president came to power unprepared. At least the first thing he's supposed to do is just to help us end the issue of insecurity instead of removing fuel subsidy. That is causing us a lot of hardship now. And you know, the major thing that usually cause insecurity in the nation is poverty. Whenever there is poverty and hunger, people live, they have no option other than to join bad chance. You understand? And those are ways that those people who add up to themselves and make quite a number to begin to disrupt the society. So, honestly speaking, if our government can do the right thing, and enough is enough, we have had the issue of insecurity over a decade now. Is it not a shame to this nation in the issue of insecurity continue? The President Bola Tinubu inherited insecurity. We are not praying to see another government coming on board to see inheriting security in this nation. Because Nigerians are not finding life funny. In as much as life is not easy for us presently, then we should be able to travel. If I'm going to Lagos, let me be able to travel with one mind without even having fear of anything on my road. If I want to go to my farm, let me go to my farm, and those people who go to the farm even collect money from people who are farming. So why would the prices of food items not go up? Our leaders must do the right thing before things get out of hand. Honestly speaking, if it's possible, let them put in more effort to remove those people. And let me conclude like this. When there was flood in Borno State, at least the flood destroyed some of those correctional centers. Yes, some of the terrorists.
The inmates, yeah.
How many of them were being apprehended? I think a lot of questions need to be asked so that at least the right thing will be done in this country. Thank you, and God continue to bless you for your good work.
Thank you, Mr. Adewumi. It's unfortunate that we have been battling with terrorism since 2003. Up till now, we have not been able to manage the situation with Boko Haram. And yet, we are saying that we know that these Lakurawas have been in existence since 2016 and nothing has been done about it. I don't know if we are a serious nation. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning.
I can hear you. Good morning.
Yes, this is Benedict calling from
Mr. Benedict, good morning, sir.
Yes, this is, I want to first of all appreciate your meeting there with the person professor. And we also appreciate the attention the government is showing us this respect to the president which the national council work that are made to
have problem on ground, which I mean that we are problem on ground. There's the reason why Nigerians get taken. There's the reason why you come to be in the center of leadership in Nigeria. It's the center of the condition you make on ground. We need to solve so many problems and not to allow problems to fester under his watch. Or not even in creating some problems by his own policies. The last caller mentioned the issue of the level of first people. I think that by the insecurity we are actually grappling with. There is a look at it. In the president of Nigeria, we are expecting that we should be able to come out with certain issues, come with certain strategic security plans, to make sure that they are stipulating some of all these plans. Because if you go to some certain developed countries, they don't close down their borders, they man their borders. The people who are supposed to speak really English when it comes to security, to be able to man their borders. And if we're talking about the porous border of Nigeria, the reason why foreigners are stepping into the soil of this country in the dignity of our nation to come and make people to pay taxes to them and not to the federal government, not to the state government, not to the local government. I think it's a sign of the failure of the government in the center. Because the paper responsibility of any government in any part of the world to secure the integrity of that nation, to secure the life and properties of that people. That is the one only thing you should be concerned with. But I was expecting that under the work of Patriotic Bola and Tinubu, who has actually been in the room as a state of governance in this country for quite a long time now, to the point that it's a Nigerian that we have left the APC government to the point that this is able to be the government and then to lead this country. I believe that you have what it is in this country. And this shows me, I'm not able to say that. What is the need that we're having some security agencies in this country? They said the NIA, all of them, they should be telling us that we have actually identified and been informed and then be able to manage the issue of security, some insecurity, some certain groups that are coming up to be able to endeavor the security and the life of Nigerians. They should be telling us this thing even before they emerge. I was expecting them to tell us, we have been able to make some arrests, who wanted to come and put some security, some certain group of people are stepping into this country, some people are actually getting them. These people have been arrested already and they have been captivity, these have been imprisoned. I'm not imprisoning and arresting people who are persistent for hunger. The people that are actually serving the residents, collecting salaries, collecting allowances, collecting emoluments, by the taxpayers, to be able to pay these taxpayers. Whether they live in the city, whether they live in the rural area, whether they live in the local government. And then they're making sure that these people that are causing millions in this country are arrested before they start coming to social problems. Don't come and tell us that another group of the market, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It means that you're not even connected to your work. You don't even know what you're supposed to do. It's a secret agency that can speak to them, like a secret agency. They come and search and arrest you. And people that have been coming from other places to come and see people in Nigeria, they don't even know that they are here, or they don't come to have work. It's unfortunate. I don't think the appearance in this country when it comes to the security and the governance of the nation, of the nation. Nigeria, we're going to lead this country.
Amen. Amen. God bless you. So many countries have moved to a preventive kind of security style. They prevent it even before it happens. But unfortunately, here we have the Laukurawas and the newspapers saying, admitting that the Laukurawas have been in existence since the year 2016. And the activity just started 2024. Now, the last caller is saying something about the NIA and some other secret security services that we have in Nigeria. They are supposed to have known about this and do something about it long before now. The CIAs are claiming in recent time that they've solved the problem of the United States 10 years ahead. And yet, we have a problem that has been lingering since 2016. And we have not been able to do anything about it. It's quite unfortunate. May God help my country, Nigeria. May God help us. But we have our role to play. If these people had been talking, the locals of these very communities that the Laukurawas are disturbing, if they've been talking about this issue, I think they would have made enough noise for people to get to know about this very existence of this terrorist group. We have a role to play. Security is everybody's business, and let's play our role. Good morning.
Hello.
Hey, in our corner. Okay, I lost that caller. I was saying we have a role to play as citizens. If the citizens there in Sokoto and other states where the Lakrawas are perpetrating their activities or carrying out their activities were loud enough, we would have known about it before now. So let's play our role as citizens. We have a part to play.
Hello.
If you see something, say something.
Thank you. I am Bashir one time, calling from John.
Bashir Dankoli, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, Prof. Thank you. We are appreciating, we are benefiting from your knowledge. What I want to contribute this morning is that we the Nigerians, they said we should not expect anything from government. We should learn, we should do something with our hands, and we should use our experience to boost our economy. Yes, we accept that. So, what the question I'm asking now, we don't have any right as a nation or as a citizens to benefit from government in terms of road, light, and water supply and other things. Even if we can do something, then we have right to do this. And another one, we look at last week, the election of United States. When I look at the campaign, they are not campaigning ending on a religion, ethnic group, or any other tribe. No credibility. Who are you? What can you deliver for us? I believe Nigeria, in terms of election this time around, they will come out fully to vote out anybody that is bringing interest. Thank you very much, and Bashir Dankoli.
You have said wonderfully. In fact, your assertions this morning are very, very interesting. As far as I'm concerned, he said something about the U.S. election. The campaign was based on credibility and ideology, not religion. I believe that come 2027, we are going to do things differently. Let's keep us out this sentiment. It is the sentiment that we embrace that gives these political leaders the avenue to penetrate through and achieve their selfish aim. If we will come together, a lot will change. I have this text message to read this morning. It says, "Good morning, Prof. and Pedro. The customs, DSS and NIS are busy robbing people bags of rice, tires and second-hand clothes in our market. While to be a security officer now in Nigeria, one has to spend 1 to 2 million naira and expect result." Musa Maidoya from Gangari. This one says, "Good morning, Professor PH and Mr. Pedro. Honestly, Prof, 100% agree with you. Northeast was destroyed by Boko Haram and ISWAP, while Northwest is the world of bandits and kidnappers. Still, we are not healthy yet. Another terrorist group come existence. Actually, we need to stop leaders like you. We need to top leaders like you, Prof, who are patriotism enough to protect his people." Thank you, Ismail from Enshanu. Ismail, that's a very beautiful one from you there. This one says, from Joseph Sani Zaruma from Faringada. "Good morning to Mr. Prof and the presenter of this program. Our security personnel should act quickly and counteract in commando style to this callous terrorists called Lakurawa before it comes too late. That was how Boko Haram started. May God save innocent Nigerians. Good day." Unfortunately, if you ask me, I will say it is already becoming late because these groups have been in existence since 2016. Whatever strategy they need to employ, whatever equipment they need to buy, 4 years or even 5 years is enough for them to have achieved that. Now this is 8 years. From 2016 to today is 8 years. Now they have put together all the strategy, they have done their feasibility studies, they are well prepared, and that is why they are out right now. Unfortunately, we did not do anything as at when we were supposed to do. This is not me saying it is too late. This is me saying we can be more proactive than we are being right now. Let's do something differently as a nation. Only that way will Nigeria grow and develop the way we expect it to grow. This one says, "Good day, I am Luca J.I. The Prof speaks factually, sincerely, and rationally. See, all he said and more are captured in my book titled Windows in Template in Amazon Kindle." That is somebody admitting to Prof's analysis this morning. This one says Western countries that manufacture weapons are responsible for insecurity. Government and the citizen manufacturing of weapons is a big business. May Allah protect each and every one of us, our families and friends. Conditions of adversity to a permanent condition of prosperity. Oh God, remove our difficulties. Hassan G. I know it is you, Hassan G. From the text message, I could tell that you are the one saying this. But then the issue of the people producing weapons at the cause of insecurity, I would want to disagree with you a little on that, because there's a saying that says gun doesn't kill people, but people kill people. If the government do the right thing, these guns will be lying low in the arsenals and itineraries out there, not being used to kill anybody. If people are not permitted to perpetrate evil, evil will not thrive. We have created an avenue, an environment where evil can thrive. Terrorism can thrive, banditry can thrive, cattle headers can thrive, and kidnappers can thrive. That is why they are thriving here. If not so, why are they not doing so in other countries that are more serious than we are? Other countries that have put together their security architecture and are combating them with all their strength as they should. You think countries like the United States don't have security challenges? No, they do have it. In fact, they have more security challenges than we do, being the world power. A lot of countries are contending with them, having rivalry with them, but then they are well prepared and ready with the right manpower and, most importantly, the will to combat these people. And that is why you don't hear too much of insecurity in the US and other countries across the world. Even in Africa, I think we are behind when it comes to security. This is because we have created an avenue for this to thrive. There's a saying that says consistency and reputation is a key to persuasion. We have consistently proven to these perpetrators of evil that Nigeria is a place where they can perpetrate this evil and go scot-free, and that is why they will do that without flinching. It's an opportunity for them. The environment is for them to thrive is created. Why won't they? If the security are serious, if Nigerians are serious, if the citizens will start opening up their mouth and say something when they see something to the appropriate authority and insisting that something is done about it, then we will be at that point where Nigeria will start advancing to positively or in the positive direction. This is me saying good night, have a nice day today from the studio, and your inputs and submissions so far have been very, very beautiful. I look forward to hearing from you, the callers, tomorrow, the 13th day of November 2024, being Wednesday. I will be here, and I know the Barrister Paul Zaruma will be in the house also. Same time, same station, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. I'm going to leave you with these few words of mine this morning. There is no human that is more human than another human. And if you only see yourself and your family, then it means you're not really seeing all that there is to be seen. Look further. Get to that point where every human becomes important. As you see yourself to be important, so is it also. Every other person outside there is important. So stretch forth your hands and help the needy the little way that you can. Do not undermine that little thing that you want to do, because it might be small to you, but it is not to the person that you're doing it to. Stay blessed, and may you find favor even as you go about your endeavors today. God bless you. This is me saying good night. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow, same time, same station.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion?